And so welcome to this, our first Christmas craft, Nativity finger puppets. So hopefully you've got hold of your Christmas craft pack with Santa sealed with Merry Christmas. And now it's time to open the Christmas craft pack, which contains this week's 5 crafts. So undo the sellotape and then look through the different crafts that you have. So this is the one you want, your Nativity finger puppets pack with the characters, colouring crayons, and no scissors, I'm afraid. The scissors I bought were wonky scissors, so I failed to give you the scissors, but you've got pencil crayons in there. You may have 6, you may have 12. Some of the packs have a variety of amounts of pencil crayons. It just depended how many I could get hold of. And you've got 2 sheets of Nativity characters, which you'll need for the story later. And then you've also got a photocopy of the sheet of the story, which we're going to read together later. So put that to one side and we begin colouring in our Nativity characters. So I've got all my crayons out there. It might be that you've got some other crayons that you'd be able to use, so feel free to use those. Don't worry if you haven't got the magic of the camera. For my next magic trick, I'll cut them out. I'm afraid it's going to take that a bit longer for you to do that. But once you have cut them out, you need to start connecting them, making them into finger puppets. So you need to just seal the bit at the back together. So there you go. And there's lots of different ways you can do this. Potentially at home, you've got a glue stick and you can glue them. So you just glue the tab at the back. There we go, like that. Then fold it round your finger and stick the bit together. Here we are sticking Mary together. There you go, Mary. And she'll fit on my finger beautifully. So you can glue them together. That's one option. Your next option, when you've cut them out, is to use sellotape. Perhaps you've got some sellotape around your house. You can cut a little bit of strip of sellotape off. Then as you wrap it round the character, that's Mary with the baby. Once you wrap it round, use a bit of sellotape and just stick the ends together. Now I'm presuming to have been able to get to this stage, you've managed to find a pair of scissors, so you'll have cut your characters out. So what you can do is just cut a little tab in. Now, I think you need adults to help you with this, because you don't want to cut it all off, but you just cut halfway up at the tab. Look, halfway up. And then on the other side, you cut halfway down. But be very careful not to cut it all the way, but halfway up and halfway down. And then you can slot it together. And then once you've slotted it together, you'll be able to wear it on your finger as an alternative way. For me, gluing's the quickest, so for the rest of the characters, I'm just going to glue them all together. And so as I said, the story I photocopied for you is out of this book, and so I'm going to read to you the story. There you go, there's your copy. I'm going to read to you the story as we move through the characters. Okay, so in the town of Nazareth lived a young girl called Mary. She was a cheerful, kind and helpful girl. She lived at home with her mum and dad and helped about the house with cooking and fetching water. Preparing food and looking after the animals, Mary was really looking forward to getting married to her fiancé Joseph. One day, when Mary was daydreaming about her wedding, a special visitor came to see her. Mary looked up from her housework and was amazed to see a bright, shining angel standing in front of her. She felt a bit frightened and started to tremble. "Don't be afraid," said the angel. "I've a special message for you from God. God has chosen you to be the mother of his son. His name will be Jesus, and he will be the king of all God's people." Mary was totally amazed. She could hardly believe her ears. She really couldn't think what to say. "But how can this be?" she asked. I'm not married yet." Everything will happen through the power of God, replied the angel. Nothing is impossible for him. Joseph was worried. He really loved Mary very much, and he had been looking forward to marrying her. He loved her. But now he'd heard that she was going to have a baby and it wasn't his. That night, Joseph tossed and turned in his sleep as he wondered whether to stop the wedding. In his dream, an angel spoke to him. Don't break off your engagement to Mary, the angel said. She loves you, and she hasn't done anything wrong. God has chosen her to be the mother of his son. Go ahead and marry her, and call the baby Jesus. When Joseph woke up, he felt as if a weight had been lifted from him, and he knew Mary still loved him, and that God wanted him to marry her. One day, Joseph and Mary set off for faraway Bethlehem because the Emperor Augustus had decided that he wanted to know exactly how many people lived in his kingdom. Augustus ordered everyone to return to their original hometown so that he could count them all. Poor Mary was going to have her baby really soon, so she could only walk very slowly. When the young couple finally arrived in the little town of Bethlehem, there wasn't a single room left anywhere. They knocked on doors all over town, but everyone said, "Sorry, we're completely full." Then Joseph knocked on one last door. "Sorry," said the innkeeper, "no room at all." Then he looked at Mary and realised how tired and heavily pregnant she was. "Well, I suppose there is the stable round the back. It's not very clean, but it's warm and dry. You can stay there if you like." That night Mary gave birth to Jesus, and because she didn't have a crib for him, she wrapped him up and laid him on a bed of hay in an animal's feeding trough. Out in the fields close to Bethlehem, a group of shepherds were watching over their sheep. Suddenly a bright light lit up the sky. It was an angel, a messenger from God. The shepherds could feel their knees knocking. They'd never seen a real angel before. "Don't be frightened," said the angel. "I've got some really happy news for you. Today in Bethlehem, a baby's been born. He's God's own special son." Suddenly the sky was full of angels, all singing and praising God joyfully. The shepherds could hardly believe their eyes and ears. When the angels had gone back to Bethlehem, the shepherds rushed off to Bethlehem to find the baby that the angel had told them about. Eventually they found the stable with Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus. Everything was just as the angels had described. They told the new parents all about their visit from the angels. Later they returned to their sheep, telling everyone that they'd met the good news about this new and very special baby. Some time later, some wise men from the east saw a new star in the sky. They knew that it was a special sign that a new king had been born. They travelled many miles to find Jesus, bringing him special gifts of gold, frankincense and myrrh, because they realised that he was indeed someone very important. When they found Jesus with his mother Mary, they knelt down and worshipped him. So I do hope you've enjoyed that story today and you've nearly completed your figures. And I hope you enjoy reenacting it this afternoon. And so tomorrow you'll need to get your craft pack 2 ready and we'll do a stand-up Christmas card together. Bye.